Hi guys, this is Kerri Honeywood, founder and owner of Kerri's Kiss Naturals. Getting ready to actually take care of some business, so I wanted to jump on very quickly and actually give a little bit detailed information pertaining to a question that I received via Facebook. Because this is a detailed question, I did reply with a detailed response. I know how when I'm actually talking, I can go off subject matter, so I did create some crib notes to make sure that I stay on task. So, once again, my name is Kerri Honeywood. I am the founder and owner of Kerri's Kiss Naturals. And this episode on this rainy Saturday, also happy December to you guys. Um, this is going to be, I guess, Ask Kerri's Kiss Naturals, right? So, you see, I'm in my car. So, like I said, I'm headed out. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. And please excuse my nasally sound. Okay, so the question asks, where did your creative spark begin? Can you trace the path or timeline that got you to where you are today? So, first off, thank you so much for asking that question. If you guys have any questions that you would like for me to answer, either about Kerri's Kiss Naturals or any details regarding the business, please feel free to email me, CerrisKissNaturals@gmail.com, or follow up with my social media sites, Kerri's Kiss Naturals on Facebook, Kerri's Kiss Naturals on Instagram, Pinterest, and as you can see here on YouTube. So, okay. To be honest, my creativity sparked when I was at the age of 8 years old. There is a funny story that goes along with this. Being diagnosed with eczema at the age of 3 and, dealing with on and off flare ups, my mom would create these homemade recipes to help alleviate itch, inflammation, irritation, which actually helped to keep it more controlled. So it helped keeping my psoriasis, well, I'm sorry, not psoriasis, it helped keep my eczema more controlled. As I mentioned, I gave you the date, and well, I'm sorry, not the date, but I gave you the age of 8 years old. Now, the reason is, like I mentioned, there's a funny story to this. So I won't never forget this day. My mom went back to work, and it was a weekend because my dad was usually off on the weekends. And my dad was watching us. If you grew up in a two-parent household, sometimes it could definitely be different when you have your mom watching you versus when your dad watching you. Now, my dad was the disciplinarian. However, when he had to watch us solely by himself, we can do whatever as long as we weren't bleeding or didn't kill ourselves. That was not always the fact with my mom. But let me go ahead and go further. So, I was watching TV. I would might have been sitting in front of the TV. You know how a child, you on the floor, you just got your legs kicked up watching TV, right? All of a sudden I started like itching real bad. I was really going through it. I was like so itchy and irritated. I was squirming like a worm all over the floor, scratching, trying to basically scratch my body all with the carpet. Or I got up and started like scratching in the corner of the walls and the door. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like I mentioned, I was so scratchy and irritated. I had my younger sibling. Yes, I am the oldest of three. Not my younger sibling, but my younger brother. It's only one boy, so he's right underneath me. So I had my younger brother use his toy rake to help me scratch, which was so cute of him. But he literally, saw me going through it, and he was playing with his toys. So he went ahead and like took his little toy plastic rake and helped me with the rake scratch those particular areas that was irritating and that was itchy to me. It was so cute, but it was so funny at the same time. Gotta love being the oldest, because as soon as I was like, come on over here, help me, he went right with it. So that was pretty cool. So my dad saw me doing all this, and he saw me ask my brother to come over here and help me scratch my back. So initially he got up and was like, girl, what's wrong with you? Why are you all squirming all over the floor and using the wall to scratch your back? What's going on with you, right? First question after he asked me what was wrong with me: did you shower? Yes, Dad, I showered. The only thing that was my problem is that I did not put on any cream after getting out of the shower. Now, as you all know, when you don't put on lotion or put something to moisturize the skin, as soon as you get out of the shower and that water dries, your skin is completely dried, looking crazy. So mine was in fact dry and pretty looking crazy, right? So my response, like I mentioned, was yes, but mama didn't leave any personal cream for me to use afterwards, because my mom used to always at least, make a tub or make some type of bowl of my cream and would either store it in the medicine cabinet or leave it in the refrigerator, whichever was best for me. I preferred using the cream from the refrigerator because it kept my skin cool. So so he went looking around for the cream. He gave up rather quickly. I mean, he really wasn't about to really get into depth and to look for it, because my mom usually leaves things out in the open. So so he went into asking me, do I know how to actually recreate the cream that my mom used to make for me? So like I said, I'm 8 years old at this point. So I said, of course, like, yeah, I know what to do. I've watched her plenty times, which I have. I've always watched my mom when it was the preparation as far as this cream. In the event that either she needs some additional things, and or there was a circumstance like this where she would forget to make me some. So initially I wanted to just go ahead from there and recreate it. So I told my mom I can do all, well, I told my dad when he asked me, did I really know how to do it? I can do all things through Christ because he strengthens me. My dad kind of laughed at that. It was like, oh, okay. So I see that you think that you got it down packed. So he was like, go ahead and try to recreate it, which was like super fun for me because I didn't really know her exact measurements, but I did know what she used. So I just went off of how I felt, how itchy I was. So I went off that in order to recreate it. So let's say that the kitchen and the bathroom was a complete mess afterwards. Hell, when I came out of the bathroom, I was a greasy mess also. Like the bathroom was tore up. I mean, I was glistening like a brown ball. But at the same time, although I was glistening, everything was destroyed. I wasn't itching anymore. I didn't have the need to scratch, to ask for help scratching any of my areas. When I say my areas, I'm talking about as far as my lower back or mid back, my arms, my legs, things of that nature. Um, so I use everything that I can find at this point, that my mom used on me, from cocoa butter, olive oil, dry oats. We always had stacks and stacks of dry oats in the house. My dad always tried to make us eat oatmeal. Ew, very ew. Don't do, I do not eat oatmeal. Although it is very healthy, I don't eat oatmeal. I prefer to get my oats and granola, yogurt, like that. But back to the story. Like I mentioned, I use cocoa butter, olive oil, dry oats. We had calamine lotion. I used calamine lotion. Added that to the pot. Apple cider vinegar, because I knew my mom used to like rinse my skin with that. I threw that in the mix. And Vaseline. Although we all know Vaseline has petroleum, and that really doesn't do the job. So I even put that in as well. I mixed it all up in a large bowl and I slathered everything all over my legs and arms. And when I mean slathered, I mean I just went in for the scoop and just everything. It didn't even matter if how big the scoops were or if it was too much. I just went ahead and put it on my skin so that I can relieve myself because I was really, really, really irritated, inflamed, itchy. So I needed to, help that, get rid of that itch. So, like I mentioned, I look like a shiny brown ball, and he put me. It was I will never forget this. So he looked at me, and I could tell that he probably wanted to strangle me for how bad I messed up the house and the fact that I was a complete mess. But as he noticed, I wasn't scratching or irritated anymore. So he didn't even have a problem with that going forward. So he went and got my mom's gray sweatsuit. Not a jogging suit, a sweatsuit, with this plastic looking suit that collects your sweat. Um, I grew up in the 80s. So growing up in the 80s and so forth, you got to know that when it came to health, your mom probably had a gray sweatsuit or some type of plastic suit in the bag that she used. So he went and he gave my mom's gray sweatsuit. The messed up thing about that is that my mom didn't even play when it came to this suit because she was always afraid that we would tear it up in some form or fashion. So he went and grabbed my mom's sweatsuit and put me in it so that I can maintain moisture and keep everything that I put on my skin on and won't ruin the house further. So I can, move around freely until my mom got home. And at that point, I really felt proud of myself because I personally created a solution to a problem. Although it was a problem that I was having and it's something that I was going through, I personally created a solution. And, from then until now, that's how I knew the beauty in using natural products or in using natural ingredients and things of that nature for my skin, instead of topical ointments, chemicals, etc. Although I thought for sure I was going to be punished, which I wasn't. So that, was one of those woo moments. But just the point that I was able to help myself and use the knowledge that was passed on from my mom to me and actually paying attention and knowing some of the things that my skin needed at that point, I felt really proud that I was able to solve even though it was my problem, I was able to solve it, with a solution of using majority natural ingredients. So fast forward to 2010. At this point, I had just given birth to my last child. I have a total of 5 kids now, from my oldest 21 to my youngest 7. So 2010, I was about 31. Yeah, about 31 for this time. Like I mentioned, I had given birth to my 5th child. Now, when I tell you stress was an understatement, woo, the stress that I was going through at that time was bananas. Stress wasn't even the worst word for it. It was the winter. He was born in December. His birthday is actually this month. So, yeah, my vehicle was down. I had just moved to the location that I was in at that point. I was living in Park Manor. I had just moved into the area. And, and I had just had my baby. So, he was born in December. So I had just had him. So that's when my skin took a dive for the worse. It was very, very horrible. Very. Um, Boom, out of nowhere is where I was diagnosed with psoriasis. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions like, do you think that when you was diagnosed at 3 years old, do you think that that was actually eczema, or do you believe that you could have actually had psoriasis at that early age? At that point, I really don't know. I really don't know at that point. I will hope, really, really hope that it wasn't, a misdiagnosis and it was eczema in the beginning. Because, as I stated, throughout the years, I was able to actually keep the eczema controlled, where I didn't have as many flare ups and things of that nature. So, before 2010, I really had it controlled. So after having my son, and boom, you know my skin and my scalp, because I initially got covered when I first was diagnosed with psoriasis, from my head to my neck. And I had to cut my hair because I didn't know how to take care of my scalp at that time. So I cut my hair. It was like a real life changing ordeal in the beginning, being diagnosed with this autoimmune disease, as far as psoriasis. Um, Only thing that I could think about at this point when I was diagnosed was like, you got to be kidding me. This is not true. Like, the only thing that I knew about psoriasis, because I've always done my own research, but the only thing that I knew about psoriasis is that, and I'm not in, that Caucasian, that this was something that you would see in more Caucasian cases than you would see, as far as being an African American female. But, I've always did research on this because I wanted to be educated on this so that I can also pass this education to others. Um, in addition to me doing my own research, like I said, being diagnosed with this, and then it's an autoimmune disease. I thought this was something that a Caucasian disease. Hell, I even went as far as to sit over here and say, I'm sure that this is something that the hospital created. This had to be something that the hospital did. Like I said, I kept crib notes. So like I mentioned, psoriasis is an autoimmune disease. It's a completely different ball game, when it came to skin disorders. Eczema to psoriasis is a completely different ball game. Um, like I said, because I stopped literally getting eczema flare-ups. So only thing I kept thinking was like, how, why me? Why this time? Why, when I had my last child versus all of my other births? 4 births, no problems, no eczema flare ups, nothing. Then this last one, this, and which was crazy, really, really crazy, because if your skin is damaged, and if that barrier is damaged, you are more susceptible into getting, further skin disorders, or actually taking the one that you currently have and producing even worse skin disorder. So, I'm like, I have been taking care of my skin very well to ensure that my skin's barrier was not damaged to the point that any germs or things like that can get in and really do damage. So I really didn't know why or what was going on at this point. Now, all I know is that so I went out, so I was diagnosed. Um, First, it was like my primary care physician. My primary care physician gave me a referral to a dermatologist. Dermatologist told me, yeah, we do see that you have psoriasis. The first thing they offered me was biologics, light treatments, topical ointments, steroid shots, everything that I initially turned down. Like, I turned these down because I went to get another opinion, because I couldn't believe that this was the only way that I could actually heal my body and heal myself, as far as with psoriasis, was like, had to do all these unnatural things that I knew in the long run would actually damage my skin more than heal it, in a way. So, like I mentioned, I turned down all of that and I requested the second opinion. Same story. So I declined there and I began learning more about psoriasis and how to care for my skin using natural ingredients. Mind you, I had already, like I said before, since getting my eczema under control, I've learned how to take care of my own skin. Having children, now I was responsible for taking care of their skin. So, I've been doing this for a couple of years now. So, using natural ingredients and using natural products wasn't something that was weird to me. It was something that I embraced and something that I wanted to continue doing outside of all of this, this harmful stuff. Light treatment itself can really harm. Biologics, steroid shots. I didn't want all of this. I really topical ointments. No, I didn't want all this because at the end it doesn't do anything but harm your skin further. So, like I mentioned, I already nurture my kids' skin from dry lips to dry ankles. So, with my family and friends, seeing that I've been doing such a great job as far as nurturing their skin and nurturing my own up until this psoriasis craziness, and even afterwards, once I was diagnosed, and because I can remember exactly. Once I was diagnosed, I looked so crazy and I felt so bad on the inside. Like like I said, I started with scalp psoriasis. You can look at my scalp. You can see at least the color of my scalp is my skin color. It wasn't like this when I first got diagnosed with psoriasis. My whole head, all the way hairline all around, was like a big scale, a big dry patch. Everything was dry. Everything was dry. And it kept my head inflamed because I kept scratching it. I kept picking it because the first thing I thought is if I can remove these dry skin scales, if I can remove this off my scalp, then I can better off help my skin, not knowing that as I'm picking and removing the scales in the skin, I'm actually removing the follicles from my hair, which can you can hair loss. So I mean, I didn't know that at first, but I did start to see my hair thin. So right then and there I cut it short, and when I'm talking about short, like that short. So so that I can be able to better nurture it instead of having long hair and not really knowing what to do. So, that was the best idea that I could think of. If I would have had any other ways, then naturally then I would have went it that route, but I the first thing was just cut it all off and let me, nurture my scalp since I'm closer to my scalp without hair. Um So, as I mentioned, family and friends would always ask me to make some type of special moisturizing, either lip balm or skin cream for them because they would see, like, with my kids and me nurturing their skin. And like I said, from dry lips to ashy ankles, I really kept their skin moisturized so they would never have to go through any type of issue with this as far as, their barrier being broken and allowing germs to get in the skin. Now, if I didn't mention, I would like for all of you guys to understand and to know your skin is your largest organ. It protects everything. So if your skin is damaged and if the barrier is damaged, it's allowing germs to get in. That's what causes further skin care issues and further damage inside. So definitely you have to care for your skin. It's December. Actually, today is December 1st. So, as this fall, I'm in Chicago. So, this is fall, winterish type weather. You have to make sure that your skin is weatherized just like you will weatherize your vehicle by getting, oil changes or radiator flushes, things like that. You have to take care of your skin as well so that once it actually does get cold and you see ice and snow on the ground and this weather is in, the winds in Chicago is so strong, they'll whip you right across your face and leave a red mark for real. So you have to really protect your skin out here, and anywhere at that matter. You have to protect your skin. So, that comes with butters and oils. Well, quality butters and oils and herbs and things of that nature, products that you can use that's natural, that can actually, give your food the necessary skin food that it needs, so that you don't have to go the route of, all these other, chemical laced things. So definitely have to do that. But as I mentioned, during this time, my family and so forth, they would always be like, Kerri, can you make this? And, family of friends, Kerri, can you make this? They always used to come to me and ask me questions, because they were like, I'm the only person that they knew in life that started off with eczema and ended up with the diagnosis of psoriasis. So to go through this type of skin transformation, and to also see that I really kept it, I really kept it under control. Like, in the beginning, I did have flare ups because I wasn't really new to it. But I knew with those flare ups not to sit over here and irritate my skin by picking and bothering it. And they liked that. They liked the fact that, I kept my skin hydrated and moisturized. They liked the fact that, although my skin went through all these type of issues, that I did what I could naturally to ensure that my skin goes back into its natural state. Now, if you looked at my videos, or if you're on Instagram and you checked out my photos or my videos there, I've definitely been keeping my psoriasis and the flare ups under control. Stress is still a major issue for me, but sometimes that's where meditation kicks in, so that you can release all of that, so you don't hold that stress in, because stress causes all type of craziness, especially with skin. You'll sit over here and get a stress acne breakout, or with having psoriasis, stress will cause me to all of a sudden I start getting peakings of scales all over in a centralized spot. Now, as far as the coverage with my psoriasis, in the beginning, I had coverage for at least maybe 75% of my body. But since using, my natural products, and since, using a lot of natural ingredients, organic ingredients for my skin, and feeding my skin the skin food that it needs, I've reduced it from 75% of my body to at least about 30%. And the reason I say 30% is because my legs took the hit the hardest. So my legs were like badly scarred, because I didn't know to stop scratching. Like I said, this was a completely different ball game. And when I would have these stress flare ups, or when I would sit over here and be stressed out, that would be the first thing that I would do for comfort, is go to my legs to scratch, or to rub, or to irritate my legs. So they were the ones that was badly scarred. That's why I said I reduced it down to about 30% of my body. But as far as with the flare ups, I've really controlled them. So you don't really see the flare ups. And with the ingredients and the products that I've been using, I've been transforming my skin from the dark bruised skin that I once had, where it's actually those marks are fading, and you can actually see my skin color for what it truly is. This light brown, So that's always a good thing, and is always a plus. Being that psoriasis is an autoimmune disease, although I might control it, this is not something that's gonna go away. Eczema you can grow out of. Eczema you can keep it controlled, and you can actually stop it. Psoriasis, no. It's a complete lifestyle change, where you actually have to change your diet. It's a lot of changes that have to take place in order to really keep psoriasis under control. That's when I initially Once I learned what I had to do, um, I went back to school, and I gained a certification in diet and nutrition, so that in addition to me knowing what I need to do in order to keep my psoriasis under control, I wanted to help others in the same way that, I didn't know. So I want to educate others. And I wanted to take the initiative and not just help others, as far as to provide them with what products they can use. I wanted to also help others with the lifestyle change, the complete lifestyle change, even when it came to diet and nutrition, things that worked hand in hand when it came to skincare. Like I mentioned before, I got some crib notes so I can stay on task. Um, da, 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 da. So, for all of those that was around me when my skin was at its worst, and you guys believed in me still, although you saw my skin at its worst, and you guys believed in me, and knowing that I had it under control and that I would do whatever was necessary using the knowledge that I did in order to get it better. You guys are the real MVP. I thank you guys so much for being a support system for me, because all the times where I just got so irritated and psoriasis really got me down, you guys really kept me motivated, with you got this, you can handle this, I know that you create something, I know that you can do whatever. And that was my goal, to sit over here and not just to only create something, but go 360 into a complete lifestyle change, so that I can get everything squared away regarding my skin, regarding my health and nutrition, so I wouldn't have to deal with my skin being like this. Because if I kept scratching and irritated, I'm further breaking down my skin, where this autoimmune disease, psoriasis, can turn into something way bigger than what it is. So, I very much so appreciate you guys for staying with me. And for, although, knowing that I had this sensitive skincare issue, you guys still trusted me with creating products to further help your skin, because you looked at it as, if she can go through all of this and she can definitely change up, then I know that she's someone that's very knowledgeable on the skin game and what it takes naturally and what products it takes to actually help this. Now, when you look at my skin now, it's definitely, it's clear. And I worked so hard to do that, so hard. I recently took my braids out because I noticed that, like, on my forehead I was starting to get some like weird looking bumps, but I knew it was because of that particular braiding hair and the fact that I've had my braids over a month. And although I washed my braids, that still wasn't good enough for my scalp and my hair. And I thank God that I didn't even get a flare up because of having those braids in so long. So that's, some good things. Now, because, like I mentioned before, you guys are the real MVP, because you guys believed in me and what I do, and you believed in what I can do, and you believed in, the path that I was going, the path that I'm going down when it comes to skincare and, natural and organic products and materials used to create the skincare product that actually fits your skin and penetrates all those layers. I really appreciate you guys just for giving me the opportunity to help you. And so I went from family and friends, from helping family and friends, and to where like referrals, word of mouth got out there, and everyone wanted me to share my story, which is what I'm doing right now. So, I definitely once again want to thank all of you guys for allowing me to enter your households, or enter your phone, or whatever the case may be, or where you're listening to this. I really appreciate that, because everyone wanted me to share my story of how I felt. Now, not at any time that I say, it was cool, because I did go through a depression period because of my psoriasis, because I was so ashamed of how my skin looked, I didn't want to wear shorts or skirts or short sleeve tops. I had to conquer all of that myself because I had to feel comfortable with the skin I was in. I knew what I was doing to get it better, but I had to get to a point where I don't care whether or not someone looks at me and thinks whatever, because that was one of the main things. Others would think like, "What's wrong with your skin? Were you burnt? Were you in a fire and things like that?" So, you know, it took some time, but I definitely conquered it. At this point, I don't have a problem wearing short sleeves, skirts, shorts, or whatever the case may be. You can look at my skin, give it dirty looks or whatever, think that my skin is dirty or whatever, but I know what's going on with my skin. And I know from where I once was to where I am now, it's a hell of a difference. So either, like it or love it, close your eyes, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna let this control my life. You have to be confident, self-confident in the skin that you're in. And don't give up because your skin will get better. Da 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 da. So, like I mentioned, word of mouth. Everyone wanted me to share my story with them, and from me sharing my story, everyone was like, for her to go through all of that, then I know it's a chance for me to come out unscathed, and I know that she has something. She has a talent. She has something that can benefit everyone. And I talk about using quality butters and oils and herbs to do so. A lot of people are not educated on what you can use or how you can use it when it comes to helping your skin to its biggest, to its beautiful factor. So from there, it started off as a hustle, as an idea, as something that I was doing for family and friends, grew out to become a business for what it is now, Kerri's Kiss Naturals. I know this is a real long video and I didn't expect for it to be this long, but I wanted to make sure that I touched on everything um, that question asked. And thank you once again for asking me that question. It was a very detailed question, so I wanted to make sure that I hit on all points. And I really hope that I did within this video. This is my first time doing a live video on YouTube. So thank you guys for taking the time out to actually listen and view me. So, if you guys have any questions or comments or whatever the case may be, please feel free to drop a line. And once again, this is Kerri Honeywood, founder and owner of Kerri's Kiss Naturals. Thank you guys so much for listening. And, okay, so before I even end this video, let's see, what am I supposed to do here? Shit, I don't know. Let's see. Okay. So, I'm about to go ahead and stop this video so I can go ahead about my day. Got to take care of some things and so forth. But like I mentioned, thank you guys for listening to me. Thank you for asking the question. And I promise to answer any questions that you guys have in relation to Kerri's Kiss Naturals or skincare. And as I always say, if I don't know, I'm not going to sit over here and sugarcoat it. Then that's something that I need to research further so that I can provide you with an answer the next time. So once again, thank you guys so much. Please check out our social. Please like, share, comment this video. Please connect with us on social media at Kerri's Kiss Naturals on Instagram or on Facebook. Even here on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel so you can check out further videos from me. Let's see, anything else? Oh, and if you guys are looking for quality skincare products, handmade, located in the USA, in Chicago to be exact, please feel free to check out my website, which is www.kerriskissnaturals.com. Kerri's Kiss Naturals, KerrisKissNaturals.com. Thank you guys so much, and you guys have a great day. Bye.